There she is. She turned her camera on. All right, guys, like I said, if you got a camera, let's turn that baby on. I want to see you guys. We all want to see you guys, man. You guys are so good looking. We want to make sure that we see you guys all the time. And we're super excited to do this with you guys. Let me turn this music off. Out of respect for your time and ours, we're going to make sure that we start on time. So what time do we have? 11:02 Eastern Standard Time. We'll go ahead and get started. So let me break down a little bit of what today's going to be. First of all, I'm excited because every year I do this class, right? Every year I do a business planning class. And this year, Tony and Jenny and I decided to do this together. We joined forces. And I'm telling you, today's information is going to be phenomenal. I won't be the only talking bobblehead up here, right? Like it's going to be, I'm going to give you my piece. Then Tony's going to come in and give you his piece. And then Jenny's going to come in and give you her piece. And we're going to cultivate these 2 hours here and make sure that you guys are getting amazing, solid information on how to prepare for 2026. And by the way, I don't care if you sold 1 house this last year, 10 houses this last year, 85 houses this last year. Business planning is a necessity. It's a necessity, right? It's a necessary thing that you have to do in order to prepare for the upcoming year. So what we're going to do is going to give you different pieces of mythology, right? Today, you're going to get my layout, which we call the 531135, right? Some of you have heard it before. Some of you have been to my classes in the past. I'm very grateful for that, but we're going to get deep into it. And I'm going to spend about 30 to 40 minutes with you. That's what each of us are going to spend with you. We set this up for a 2-hour span. And again, no matter what business you're in, we're obviously going to be very hyper focused on real estate. But if you're a lender or whatever the case is, translate the information. If you got a side hustle, translate the information, right? Like use it for your real estate business. And then you got a side hustle selling bicycles or lollipops. Like it's the same thing. Business planning is business planning, right? And then we're going to get into the breakdown. Like, okay, if I want to add another $100,000 to my bank account in the next year, if that's my goal, how do I break that down? And that's where Tony's going to come in and he's going to powerhouse with you guys and help you break it down. And then we're going to get to methods and tools, things you can actively do right now to begin working into 2026, right? I can't believe I'm saying 2026, by the way, right? Like, how crazy is that? Like, geez, bro, it's nuts. The time flies. You know, I'm blessed. This coming March will be my 21st year in this business. Jenny's going to be celebrating her 22nd year. Tony, what is it for you?
Well, given I'm only 25 years old, David, I really haven't been in business that long, so sorry.
All right, so 25 years in the business. Gotcha. So we're going to take this collective, let's call it 60 years of business, and we're just going to pour into you today, okay? Deb says, I'm too vain. I look like I'm in gym mode. Girl, come on. Come on. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is everybody smile because I'm going to take a little selfie with y'all because why not? I love it. All right, let's get into it. First thing I want you to remember as we go through today's classes, there's 2 things I really want you to keep in mind, okay? First thing is that the focus should never be the actual goal. The focus should be the steps in front of you, right? And so I want to say that very carefully because I know that oftentimes you go into business planning and we're going to talk about goals today, and goals are going to be a primary concern and a primary piece of the conversation. But what we've learned is the second thing that I'm going to tell you is that we never rise to our goals. We fall to our systems. All right. And I hope that makes sense to you. We never rise to our goals. We fall to the system in place that is supposed to get us to the goal. And so what I'm saying to you is if you want to cross the street, you need to focus on 1 step at a time to get there. If you want to run 26 miles or you want to do a full marathon, you're running 1 mile at a time. You're taking 1 step at a time. Like if we really break it down, maybe you start with a quarter marathon, then you go to a half marathon, then you go to a full marathon, right? It's a step-by-step process. And the reason I want to say this out loud to you in a very specific way is because we have to be ultra thoughtful about what we're going to do on a daily basis. And that's why we're going to help you break this down, because I don't want you to come into this with BS goals that are not worthy of chasing. I want you to think big. I want you to have fun with this. I want people to think you're crazy by putting these goals together. I really do. Like, I want you to come up with some obscene, ridiculous things, and then I want you to take those pieces and I want you to have fun with them, okay? And you're going to realize that even your largest, most crazy, most obscene goal in the world, if you break it down into baby steps over a period of time, it's very achievable. Everything in life is achievable. If it wasn't achievable, people would not have accomplished it, and you would not look at it saying, wow, I would like to make that one of my goals. If that makes sense to you, give me a thumbs up inside the chat box. I want to see your chat box, right? Type a Y, give me a thumbs up, give me something positive if it makes sense for you. Let's go. That's what I like. Awesome. Loving it. Loving it. All right. So that being said, we all know that listings are a major part of what we do as real estate agents. We want more listings. Okay. So if you are in the South Florida area, next week, Thursday and Friday, we have Jeff Glover flying in. We hired Jeff Glover to come out here. Me, Tony, Jen. Jeff Glover's coming in. He's going to do an event in Broward County, and he's going to do an event right here in Miami-Dade County. So wherever you're located or whatever's easiest for you to get to, I think it's Thursday in Broward, Friday in Miami, if I'm correct. Okay. Yes. Guys, I'm telling you right now, this is worth attending. We're able to get this down to $39. And Jeff's going to talk about the 13 ways to get more listings. This is a guy, by the way, who's an incredible coach and still to this day actively pulls 100 listings by himself, not including his team. And his team will do more than 300 closings this year, right? That's who you want to hear from. That's who you want information from. So I'm going to have Michael put the link in the group. You're going to see a link there. That's a collective link that he's putting out there, and it shows all our upcoming events. So we've got that this Thursday, next Thursday and Friday. Then in January, we're doing another event that we're calling Niches, Luxury, and AI. And we're bringing that to the table. And that's happening, guess what? Also in Miami and Broward County collectively. And those classes, if you love the way that we go through today's lesson, where it's me, Tony, and Jen giving you everything we can possibly give you, that's what's going to happen in January. We're going to step on a stage with a microphone and we're going to pour into you again. We're going to create a really cool workbook for you guys. We're going to put everything out for you guys. We want you guys to win. So we're going to ask you something for January. Number one, we want you to register because that one is free. Okay? That was 100% free. And we want you to bring a friend. That's what we want for January. Okay? We want you to register and we want you to bring a friend. So come on out and get intense with us, and let's business plan now, and then give you even some more tools in January once you've got your business plan in place that you can use to go and dominate and continue to dominate. All right. So now we've got 75, 73 people in the room. Let's rock and roll, guys. I'm going to share my screen with you guys because now I'm going to get into, right now, it's going to look weird because I'm going to be all up on the screen sharing the screen. But for those of you you know, my computer took a dump yesterday and I am officially computerless. So I'm using my whiteboard to share with you. All right, so can you guys see my screen okay? Somebody give me a loud yes because I can't see the chat box anymore.
Yes.
All right, awesome. Thank you. I'll tell you, where'd everybody, did I lose everybody? All right, so guys, business planning 2026. Now, let's talk about this. What I'm going to talk about right now is a 531, and I'm going to talk about a 135. Hey, but Dave, what the heck are you talking about? What does this mean? I want you to take a moment, and I'm going to have you work on each of these. This one is first, and then this one is second. And I'm going to explain to you why. Your 531 is designed to focus on what you expect to achieve over the next 5 years, 3 years, and 1 year. So this is 2026 right here. Okay? This is an opportunity for you to sit down and you to go, I'm going to write down where I would like to be in 5 years, in 3 years, and next year, by the end of next year. Okay? This is a very fun exercise, by the way. 100%, I want to say to you guys, do not think small. Think outlandish. Think big. Think yachts and private jets if that's your thing. If that's not your thing, think travel, massive travel, places you want to go, only flying first class, right? Like really, really, really have fun with this. Where do you want to be in 5 years? Okay. Some of you are a much more humble mindset. You're thinking, I'm going to buy a small house on an island somewhere and retire. But in order for me to do that, I'm going to have certain money coming my way consistently on autopilot, mailbox money. That's going to have to be happening in order for me to buy a small house in an island somewhere. And so if that's the case, what are you going to be doing in year 1 to 3 to 5 in order to achieve that, right? Now, there are certain things that I want you to think about when it comes to your 531, which is your annual look, right? Number 1 is that this compounds. What do I mean by that? I mean that you cannot think of year 5 and then go, how do I divide this into 5 years so that I can do the same thing each year and naturally progress? That's not what's going to happen. If you do the same thing over and over again, you will see the same results. What you need to start thinking is, whatever I do in year 1, I'm going to evaluate so I can double down on the things that work and then add a couple new items for year 2 to get me to where I want to be and what I see myself as in year 3. So that in year 3, I can evaluate the last 3 years and I can think about what needs to happen in year 4 to achieve where I want to be at the end of year 5. And these things compound on each other, right? So when we talk about a referral-based system, let's say, just using this as an example, if I have clients and I'm very, very, very good at communicating with my past clients and my sphere of influence, and I focus on those two and those two things only, okay, I know that I'm going to get more referrals. And when I get more referrals, guess what that means? More past clients and more sphere of influence for me to communicate with. And the more past clients I have and the bigger my sphere of influence becomes, the more referrals I get, again, each year, compounding on the next year. Because you don't forget the people from year 1 when you're in year 3. You're supposed to be consistently compounding on the work that you're doing. All right. And number 2, like I said earlier, go crazy. Think big. Please have fun with this. Do not shortchange yourself, because you are 100% capable of achieving whatever it is that you desire in your life. Okay? 100% capable of achieving it. Now, once you have fun with this, by the way, this doesn't have to be a super long exercise. You got a spouse, you got kids, you got whatever. Sit down with them and go through this with them. Have fun with them. Help them think big with you. Because I got news for you. If you are married and you have a spouse at home and you create this goal that's just massive and outlandish, and your spouse either A, doesn't know that goal, or B, doesn't believe in that goal, it's going to be very hard for you to achieve it. But if you guys think big together and everyone's on the same page, there's no way in the world you can mess it up if you stay falling to your systems. Okay? This is where we get to the 135. The 135 is highly focused on just 1 year. What do I mean by that? You're doing your 531. You know where you want to be in 5 years. You know you want to be 3 years. And you know where you want to be in 2026 by the end of 2026. So you're going to bring that here. Now, your 135 is an exercise that I really want you to spend time on. Your 135 is an exercise that helps you define what you do not only on a weekly basis or monthly basis, but even as deep as a daily basis and hourly basis. And that takes me back to the thing I said earlier. We do not rise to our goals, we fall to our systems. So I had this crazy great conversation with I'm going to stop sharing for a second. I had this crazy great conversation with a huge team leader in Canada, right? And we're doing this mastermind in Canada. A couple of you guys from the Canada Mastermind are in here right now. I appreciate you joining us. And in that mastermind, he said that when he sets business planning with his team, they never discuss goals. And I said to him, why would you not do that? And he believes the same thing that I just said, because we don't rise to our goals, we fall to our systems. So what we do is we highly focus on the systems that we want to have in place to achieve those goals. And we don't think about the big goal. We think about the system in front of us on a daily basis. And every week they get together and they hold each other accountable. They hold each other accountable for what they're supposed to be doing on a daily basis. And that's why this 135 is so important, because it really takes you to what you should be doing on a daily basis. And like I said, you could break it down to an hourly basis. Now I'm going to show you how, okay? Now I'm going to show you how. What is the one? The one is your big goal for the year. Okay. So when you got to this point right here, when you got to that point right there, you came up with some goals that you want to achieve in year one. Okay. So 2026, what are your big goals? By the way, it's not just one. You can have multiple big goals, right? We could create this like this for the year. And another one. Okay. Now, and I'll tell you how I do it at the end. I'll tell you how I do this and how I sit down and plan my life and how I whiteboard the hell out of my next year. Okay. But I'm going to show you this piece right here. You could write several big goals, whatever your big goals are. And as you do this exercise, you're going to realize that once you write down all your big goals, some of those big goals might fall under another big goal as a task. So allow me to explain. With each big goal, I want you to create 3 achievements. Right? What do I mean by that? Each big goal should have 3 achievements, 3 things that you need to achieve that for sure, if you achieve these 3 things, they will help you accomplish your big goal. Okay? So if we take these 3 pieces and we know for a fact, if I can do these 3 things, just these 3 things, I'm highly attacking my big goal is going to happen. Right? And then for each of those big goals or each of those achievements, for each one of them, you're going to have 5 tasks that you need to do. All right. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tasks, right? That you need to do on a regular basis in order to achieve this achievement. And then these 5 tasks are for this achievement. This 5 tasks are for this achievement. Okay. So what am I doing here? I'm taking an elephant and I'm making it into bite-sized pieces. Right? You guys have all heard the phrase, how do you eat an elephant? 1 bite at a time. Right? And so what we're doing right now is we're making our big goal achievable by breaking it down into well understood steps. And then you can take this big goal and do the same thing. Just copy and paste it over here. And then this big goal, you take the same thing, you just copy and paste the entire method into here. Now I'm going to tell you how I do this, right? I take a stack of papers, 10, 20 sheets of paper, and I write my big goal on the top of that paper. Then I write my 3 achievements in that paper, and then I write down the tasks on that paper. And then I put that paper on my big table, on my desk right here in the office. And I do as many of those as I need to for all the goals that I want to achieve in 2026. And then I start really dialing down and reviewing, because this goal might be earn 100K. I'm making this stuff up, right? I know that doesn't look like earn, but it is, okay? Earn 100K, okay? I'm gonna fix it. I'm having a hard time. My OCD's kicking in. Let's say this big goal is earn 100K, and this big goal is close 25 deals. Well, can we say that these two things correlate with each other? Yeah, we can say that. So maybe this big goal of closing 25 deals transfers to one of the tasks or one of the achievements that we need to have in order to earn the 100K. Does that make sense to you guys? I'd really like to know if it makes sense. Give me a yes, like a loud, resounding yes, because I can't see the chat box.
Yes.
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 Awesome.
Yep.
Okay, so now I want to go through this, okay? I want to have some fun. I'm going to stop sharing real quick. I want to have some fun, and I would like to choose who would like to volunteer to do a goal, an achievements, and a list with me. Who would like to volunteer? Look, watch, everybody got real quiet.
I will.
Now. Got all these. Who said I will? Give me a name.
Kim Brown.
Kim Brown. All right. Kim, thank you for participating with us. All right. Hey, Mike, I'm going to share my screen, but make sure Kim is nice, loud, and clear. Okay. All right. So, Kim, I'm going to share my screen. I can't see you when I'm sharing my screen, but we're going to work on this together. Okay.
Okay.
All right. You can see my screen, but I can't see my screen. There we go. All right. Can you still see the screen that I'm writing on?
Yes.
Super weird because I can't see it. So hold on one second. Let me stop my share. And let me do this the way I've been doing it before, which was much simpler. Okay. All right. Ready? Now,
Yes.
I want you to think about what is one of your biggest goals for 2026. Give it to me.
My biggest goal for 2026 is to close 36 deals and net 300K in GCI.
Love this. Okay. So we're going to go 1, close 36 deals.
Yes.
Is that what you said? Okay.
Yes.
And
And
net
yes.
100K.
300K.
Right. So this is for those of you that are, 300K. Stand by.
Yes.
Because I was like, that's a lot of deals for 100K. All right. 36 deals. Net 300K. Okay. So now, this is what I'm going to ask you real quick, Kim. Where are you at this year to date?
As far as GCI or number of deals?
Close.
Number of units.
Net. Close the net. Where are you at this year?
How
many deals?
19.
Okay. And what's your GCI right now?
105.
Okay. So now why, and I like to get into this because I want everybody to be thinking this when they're going through this process. Why is 36 deals and 300K important to you?
Well, 36 deals, when I break that down, that's 3 deals a month to close. And I know,
Okay.
it seems it's a big goal, but I also see that it's obtainable.
Okay.
With systems in place and doing the things that I need to do. And 300K is, to, help reach some other goals that I have for the year.
Cool. All right. So we're gonna move this. Watch this. I'm gonna take this right here, and we're gonna go 3 achievements, right?
Okay,
And one of those is gonna be net 300K. Fair?
absolutely.
All right. What other achievements, big achievements, do you think that would be bite size that would help you reach your 36 deals?
I'm making 400 contacts a month.
Okay. Now, just so everybody knows, 400 contacts a month is very different than 400 calls a month. Are we clear on that? Right? If I contact you, it means that we connected. If I called you, I might have gotten your voicemail, might send you a text message with no response. That's very different. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you your next one, and it's going to be 3 deals a month.
Okay.
Now let's get into collaboration on this. I want to start with the contacts because I'm a big believer that contacts lead to deals and deals lead to money. So we're going to work from right to left. We're going to read backwards, okay? What are 5 tasks that I need to have in place, or you need to have in place, to make sure that you're doing 400 contacts a month?
Continue to stay involved in my community.
Okay, so community involvement.
And do you want more?
Yes.
Reach out to my sphere and really have that in a system that I touch them 12 times a year, each one of the people in my sphere.
Love this. What else?
I've been working on some social media channels and to really get consistent with that as far as content goes.
Okay.
Because my following is getting larger and I can focus on that more than I am currently.
Okay, what else?
That's as much as I had written down so far. Let me think.
All right, so let's do this. Let's play 400 contacts a month divided by 4 weeks, divided by 5 days a week is 20 contacts a day.
Yes.
It's important to break that down, right, in the tasks, right?
Absolutely.
Because like when we start thinking about 400 contacts, everybody at least 80% of the people that are logged in right now went, because it sounds like a lot, right? Like if we take this and we go, oh yeah, 400 contacts a month, if we would have said 4,800 contacts a year, people would be they'd be flush already, right? They'd be sweating a little bit, temperature goes up, right? But when you break it down, is it hard to make 20 contacts a day?
No.
No, it's not, right? Can I give you another one?
Yes.
Meetings one-on-one.
Okay.
That's another task. You need to have that in place. If I don't connect with people like people do, then it goes nowhere. Right? So my goal is, if I'm you, right, your goal is, let me rephrase this, your goal is to have 400 contacts a month, which means that you have to do more community involvement. This is what I do with community involvement. I don't move it from there. I leave it there, but I turn it into the one. Why do I do that? Watch this. Community involvement. right? 3 things. Let's say client appreciation event. What else do you do to stay involved in the community?
I'm very involved with my church. I'm on the prayer committee, prayer team.
Awesome. Awesome. Church involvement. What else?
Staying involved in the real estate community. I have an empowerment group that meets once a month that I lead.
Real estate empowerment. Love this. Okay. And then I would break this down even further, right? I'll say church involvement. What am I doing there? Lead prayer group. How often? 4 times a week. I don't know, or whatever you do, right? 4 times a month, let's say, right? I don't know your schedule, but I'm giving you like just kind of going through it, right?
Right.
Attend church events. Sponsor maybe some things that they do, right? Like if there's an event,
Right.
they're looking for sponsors, be a sponsor, right?
Okay.
Client events, right? How many times a year do I want to have client events? Maybe 1 a quarter.
Okay. I was going to
Right.
ask you that. Okay.
Where do I? Yeah, what do I do for a client event? Invite all my past clients in my sphere of influence to a barbecue at the park.
Okay.
Get a big bounce house, right? Set up a barbecue or get a food truck to roll up, right? Jenny and I have done this before for our real estate community. Pulled up, got a big food truck, got one of those bays in the park, you know, the covered areas. Turned some fans on. Her husband went to, or I think my daughter went to Home Depot and bought some fans because it was hot as ever. Okay. And we had music and we had fun and we had a good time. It was incredible. Do that for your clients, right?
Okay.
Barbecue park or food truck, right? Something like that. Happy hours.
And in the past, I've done cookies with Santa.
Yep.
And
Cookies.
free photos.
That's your first one.
Right.
Right? That's your Q4 one. So now you start planning. And then you break this down like, okay, for my client event, I'm going to do one each quarter. What am I doing Q1, 4, and 5? I mean, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Sorry, 1, 4, 5. I don't know why I said that. But what am I doing in first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter? Well, fourth quarter is already the cookies with Santa. We already know that. Right? So what's 1, 2, 3? What's 1, 2, 3? Maybe 2. Second quarter is a nice park event. You know, maybe first quarter is a New Year event. You know, by the way, New Year events don't have to happen on January 1st. It could be January 20th. You know what I mean? Let's all get together and enjoy the new year, whatever. Maybe the third quarter is another park event. Who knows? You know? And then your cookies with Santa. Maybe you get known for that, but you start planning all of that out. That stuff goes here. You start putting that into the plan. Is there a happy hour? Completely up to you. I don't know. Some people like it. Some people don't. You know, the cookies with Santa is going there, right? So now you're starting to really dial down on what this little task right here means.
Right.
Same thing with your sphere of influence, right? So you're taking your sphere of influence and you're going, cool, I'm going to call them and make sure I'm in touch with them 12 times a year, which means each month. What does that mean? Is it a call only, or are you doing a call meet? Let me tell you what my professional opinion is. If you want for people to remember you for the business that you provide, and you want them to give you referrals, and you want them to be your cheerleaders, and you want them to be your hyper focused on you every time somebody mumbles the word real estate, you have to shake hands and be in front of them. It has to be a human connection. We've relied too much on this. It's for everybody, right? We've relied too much on this telephone right here and we cannot. The telephone should be the gateway to meeting up for a cup of coffee.
Okay.
Right? Or passing by their house for 5 minutes, 6 minutes. You don't need to go to somebody's house and spend all day there, right? Like you show up to somebody's house. Hey, are you home today? Yeah, I'm home today. Cool. I'm gonna stop by Starbucks. I'm gonna pick something up and come by for a couple minutes, man. Cool. You go by, You don't have to finish the whole cup of coffee. How's the house? How are things going? How are the kids? How's your husband? You know, oh, look what you did to the backyard. That's beautiful. Man, the house is really doing great, blah, blah. And you finish that. Like, who do you know that deserves to work with me right now? Because obviously I rely on my friends and family. Like, they're not your past clients. I rely on my friends and family to help me grow my business, you know? And then you get a name before you leave, and you ask them to connect you via text message before you walk out the house.
Okay.
Because people forget, right? What does create content mean? Where are you focusing? Facebook, let's say Instagram.
TikTok.
Right? Let's say it's just Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
And TikTok. All right. All right. So you're focused on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. What does this mean to you? Right? What are you posting? How often?
I've been posting twice a week on TikTok and
Okay.
doing a lot of luxury homes on there, videos of luxury homes, and I'm getting a lot of response. And I want to kind of switch it to almost be like that plus a community information page.
Beautiful.
So.
And are you repurposing that information into your Instagram and Facebook?
Yes.
Good. Solid. That's really solid. So come up with the exact plan for next year. Is it going to turn to 3 a week? What are you going to focus on? What are you going to do in the community involvement stuff? How many small businesses you're going to interview and promote in there, right? How many parks are you going to visit? Which ones are they? Which businesses are they? When are you going to go interview them? Which quarter are you going to get those interviews in? Right? Like that kind of stuff.
Okay.
You know? And how you're going to post them.
Okay.
Is it you? Do you have an assistant? Right? Do you have maybe a part-time assistant that does social media for you? Or do you have an assistant?
No, I'm doing this on my own, but I think I need one.
Good. There you go. Right? By the way, I'll tell you right now, a lot of the stuff that we're doing other than the personal connection of calls and meetings, a lot of this stuff can be done by an assistant. Right? A lot of it. Okay? The planning of all of this, you just tell them where, plan it, put it together, create the invite, and then help you get the invite out to everybody.
Okay.
You know? And then you just got to be there. And do what you do best, which is talk to people, communicate with people, connect with people, treat people like people, and then turn that into the business. Right?
And give up some control.
Yeah. And then you're going to do the same thing with the 3 deals a month. You're going to break that down on how you would plan to achieve that. And the net 300, what does net 300 mean to gross, right? What's your actual GCI for you to net 300? And think about what your expenses are going to be each year. Jot those down, put those together. Now you've got an understanding of how you achieve net 300.
Can I ask you a question? Yeah, can I ask you a question about that? My average is higher than the community average here in San Antonio as far as per unit. And I was using numbers that are average for San Antonio. Should I use my own average?
100%. You know what you sell.
Okay.
100%. You know, and that might push your number up. Now it's not net 300. Maybe it's net 350, net 370.
Okay.
But 100%. Use your average. You know what you sell. Use your average.
Okay.
Not the average of San Antonio.
Okay. Thanks.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. Was that helpful for you, by the way?
Very, very helpful.
Awesome. Hey, guys, if it was helpful for you, jump in here and write yes. Give me a Y. Thank you, Kim, for doing this with me. I really appreciate you, Kim.
Well, thank you.
All right, awesome. Everybody's giving me a yes. I'm seeing it. You're going to see, like, Kim's got clarity now in how she's piecing a lot of this stuff together. Guess what that means, guys? That means that she is now going to sit down and she goes, oh, wait, now I know how to achieve these certain things. I'm going to go do it. Even just now, she came to the conclusion that she might need a personal assistant, right? She came to the conclusion that she might need to transfer and get a personal assistant and get a lot of help to put this stuff together. But you know what they say? The second you hire a personal assistant is the second, and you learn how to direct business, because that's the hardest part. It's letting go. You can double your income that next year, right? So maybe that becomes a part of her plan. Big goal, hire a personal assistant. What 3 things do I need to have in place to do that? What are the tasks to achieve that, right? Just because it's a big goal for 2026 doesn't mean that that big goal has to be achieved by December of next year. It can be achieved by January, February. It is a goal in the year of 2026. All right, everybody, are you super hyped up right now? You feeling it? Is this good information, right? Are we good? Super solid? Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to transfer the powers of hosting this event, the powers of Zoom, to Tony Martinez, who's going to break down how to achieve a lot of these goals that we're talking about and how to do the math behind it, which is the critical piece, right? Tony, you're here, right? I don't see you. Where are you at?
I'm here.
Oh, there he goes. There he goes. I didn't see that pretty face of yours. All right, I am transferring over. Tony, the show is yours, man. Thank you, brother.
All right, my man. Thank you so very much. I enjoyed that. I mean, it's great to hear leaders share their perspective. And look, all kidding aside, because we're such good friends and we've been hanging out for a long time now, it's truly an honor to be invited to be on here and also to be sharing with Jenny. She's just, I mean, she's a real estate goddess. That's what it really comes down to. So I'm just a humble guy. I'm just going to share something that I came up with a few years ago. You know, I've been a team leader for a long time. Prior to that, a broker owner, independent broker owner. So we're all struggling with the same things. Let's be real. The struggle is absolutely real. When last year only 71% of real estate agents did not have a single closing last year. And I don't think 2025 is going to be a whole lot better. You know that it's been a difficult ride for the past 2 years. I can see where a lot of people going into this year, they're probably thinking, oh man, why even bother? You know, but I got some great news for you. If you didn't produce anything at all this year, you have nowhere to go but up for next year. Would you agree with that? Doesn't that make you feel better? I don't think so. But the way I break it down is I like to go ahead and do everything kind of working backwards. So we're talking about production. We're talking about getting listings. But what I learned a long time ago is that many real estate agents don't really have a system like David was talking about, but they don't understand the chronological order to getting to closings. So I started playing around with this and seeing if it makes sense. People have shared it with, told me it has. Hopefully you feel the same way. The way I look at it is to get to production, it's kind of like a pyramid, right? And it starts at the bottom. We all should be starting down here, all right? We should own a condo down here. What is feeding the beast? That's called lead generation. So please write that down. Here's one of the things I've noticed from agents forever. Agents do not treat prospecting the way they do it. Here's where it should be. Prospecting should be intentional, not occasional. So write that down. Intentional, not occasional. If you were to break down your entire day's activities, how much time would you say that you allot for marketing and prospecting? Probably very little. Write this down. If you spend too much time working on your business, okay, or I should say too much time working in your business, doing the admin stuff, you don't spend too much time working on your business, which is building it, marketing, prospecting, making contacts, you might find yourself out of business sooner than later. We just don't spend enough time working or making contacts. That's why it's great what David was sharing earlier. You got to cast a wide net. Jenny's going to show you some really great ideas that you can do. Now, here's what needs to happen as your career progresses. Lead generation is really not difficult. We have more tools available at our disposal now than ever before. Okay, with all the technology and all the social media that we have, generating leads is really not a big deal, but they're very, very low quality. Most of these are not ready to buy anytime soon. They're tire kickers. So you have to become very proficient at screening, converting, vetting. Because the name of the game is to take this huge pool of leads that I know you can generate, and you got to put it through a funnel. And how many of them are actual prospects? So become very, very good. And you have so many great coaches. David is one of them that can teach you the scripts, all the things that you need to do to get to the point where you got that phone call, you got that email, you respond. Well, what can you do maybe differently from the other agent? I see agents all the time doing all the stuff that doesn't work. So they say, well, let me just keep doing it. When somebody fills out a lead request or something, do you just respond with the same old tired email response or text response, or do you send them a video response? So let me see something here. What do you got? Almost 80 people on the call right now. How many of you right now, automatically, when you have a lead, you follow up and you send them a video, a personalized video to them? Say, hey, thank you so much for inquiring about this residence, about this property. I'm an expert on this area. I'd love to go ahead and help you. How many of you are doing right now? Go ahead and tell me that in the chat. Because I'm going to tell you something right now, the number is going to be very low. Because it's just so much easier to just go ahead and just hop in, the standard, hey, I'm here to help you. I'm the realtor for all of your needs and all that kind of stuff. Get creative, right? Think outside the box. You know where the magic happens? When you're able to convert these prospects into appointments. Now think about it. Nothing happens in this business unless we're face-to-face with them. Now I get it. We have Zoom, we have technology. But write this down. Real estate is a contact sport. Real estate is not a spectator sport. Okay, you got to get your hands dirty. The stuff that the old guys taught before, get belly to belly, nose to nose, maybe it takes on a different perspective now, but it still holds true. You actually have to get to the meeting. Now, imagine how many agents right now are throwing stuff against the wall, because that's what marketing is. You throw stuff against the wall, hoping some of it will stick, right? And then a lead shows up and they don't have the dialogue. They don't have the confidence or the competence to go ahead and have a conversation with these people. Find out what their motivation is. Find out what their time frame is. And then get to the point where, like the old Floyd Wickman would say, it's, come into the office. How can we get together? Whether it's a buyer consultation, whether it's a seller consultation, you got to get that appointment. Now, here's the thing. With all the training that's available across so many different platforms, right? If agents would just simply invest the time, like, for example, this Jeff Glover event we got coming up. I mean, people are flying down from other states to attend this event. Why? Because this guy is the man. This guy knows what he's talking about. And when you put into place stuff that he teaches, you're going to get that appointment and you're going to stand a better chance of closing. So from the appointment, it converts into what is a contract. Now, a contract could be a listing agreement. It could be a buyer broker agreement. It can be, a purchase agreement. But the name of the game is to get to contracts. Now, what then happens is, depending upon the level of experience that a lot of agents have, and look, this is something the industry is suffering from right now. We're seeing a lot of deals fall through. I was just talking to a few of my agents, and it's like, well, people are just backing out, whether it's an inspection issue, an appraisal issue, whatever. We're seeing more and more contracts, fall out. Well, that's something that sometimes we have zero control over, but many times it has to do with who we surround ourselves with. Do you use a transaction coordinator? Do you have the right title company? Do you have the right lender? See, we're not in this business by ourselves, right? We have to surround ourselves with the right team that do what they're best at. They stay in their lane. They do what they're best at, so we can hold these deals together. And then what happens is, when all of this comes together, then we get to the magic place of closings. So this is what I've always said. You got to work backwards. Feeding that beast is something you have to do every day. Now, I don't give, everybody has a different amount of time that they can spend in the business. You don't have to be full-time in the business to be successful. I have people on my team that are part-timers. They have full-time gigs someplace else, but they make six figures in real estate, right? And I have agents that work the business full-time and can't afford to pay attention. At the end of the day, if you have 2 hours a week, 5 hours, 10, What you need to decide now is what percentage of that time you're going to devote to feeding the beast. Does that make sense? So does anybody have any questions or comments regarding what I just shared? Does it make sense?
Good stuff.
All right. So I'm going to take that as, okay. I'm checking the chat right now. Let me see here. Thank you, Latoya. I appreciate it. Okay. So that's the premise, right? This is the premise. But how do you put this into action? So here's what I did. I created this thing. I think I created it. I don't know. It's hard to find anything that's new in real estate because so many things have been discussed before and they just kind of get remastered and resent. But for many, many years, the number 100,000 has been the magical number that real estate agents want to earn. And it's kind of weird that, David, you mentioned that earlier when you threw a number out there, 100,000. I think that most of the time, if you were to ask anybody coming out of school right now in real estate, hey, man, so how much you want to make in real estate? They're going to throw 100,000 out there. Now, with inflation, you think that number should be a lot more, but what the heck? 100K, you can probably get by with it. But here's the thing. I'm going to use an example on what you need to do to get to 100K from a mathematical standpoint, right? But I want to make sure I get the following across. My definition of success may not be your definition of success. That is critical. One of the things that a lot of agents fall victim to is I have to compare myself to the person next to me. No, you don't. What I've always felt is what amount do you need to make per year that can make a significant impact in the lives of you and your family? If that number's 10,000 because real estate is a side hustle for you, fantastic. If it's 150,000 because you need to get out of that 9-to-5 corporate environment that you're in right now and you want to go out there and be your own business person, fantastic. So please, I'm just going to use this for round numbers, but I also shared a template. I don't know how, David, you and your crew are going to share it, but I put this in a PDF format so that you guys can fill this in based on your numbers and your goals. So it all starts.
I don't want to interrupt you, sir, but Mike, if you can get that from Diana, put it in a Google Drive and create a shareable link for everybody so that they can have that worksheet in the chat box. I appreciate it.
Okay, sure.
All right, so we're going to start off. I'm going to do a couple of different variations on this. So in other words, I'm going to use 100K. When you guys get the template in your hands, you're going to sit down, create some time for you to say, okay, what do I really need to do? Now, I'm a big believer in making the numbers attainable. We all want to make 500,000 in real estate, but if you're first starting out, just take it in stages. But I believe in working backwards. And people say, what does that mean? I go, well, you got to get to the point where, well, let me ask you this. You have a goal as to how much you want to make. If you ask most people how much you want to make in real estate, they know a number. But if you ask them how many closings do you need to have to achieve it, they don't know what that number is. Now think about that for a second. You have a goal, but you have no clue how many transactions you will have to close to achieve it. That means that you haven't studied it. You haven't really, really reviewed your business. So it all begins with the variables. All right. So what are the 3 variables that I can't fill in for you? Because this is based on your market, right? What is the average sale price in your market? I'm just going to use some very conservative numbers here. I'm using 450,000. Now, I know different areas are represented here. South Florida, this is way low. Maybe in South Carolina, this number is perfect. So this is something you're going to fill in. But we can't do the math. I'm sorry. Yeah, we are going to do some math. You can't do the math unless you know the variables. The second variable is, what is your typical commission on a closing? Now, we all know commissions are negotiable. You could charge whatever the customer is willing to pay. I had to throw a number up there. So I'm going to use 2.5%, or in this scenario, it would be 11,250. Now, if any of my numbers are off because I was rushing this or whatever, show me a little grace. This is more for an example. You guys could figure this out exactly on your own time there. Third variable, what is the split with you and your brokerage? And this is all over the place, right? There's different models that are represented here. You may be at 100%, you may be on a team, you may be 80, you may be 70. I threw a number up there of using 90%. So in this scenario, when this individual agent closes a transaction that's $450,000, and the commission amount was to the office, to the brokerage, 11,250. They're walking away with 10,125. So everyone with me so far, that part makes sense? Okay. So then here's where the numbers come in. And you go, oh no. Okay. So take the income goal, okay, 100,000, and divide it by the split, 10,000. That means you have to do 10 closings. No, that's not true. You have to do 10 sides. This is one of the magical parts of this. We get too fixated on the number of closings. And this is why being a listing agent is always going to be the name of the game. Because can you get both sides if you're only representing the buyer? No. Okay. Typically, no. But if you have the listing and you can get the buyer, that just counts double. That counts as 2. But for the sake of conversation, let's treat this as 10 separate closings that you have to make. You know, imagine you calculating this, taking 5 minutes to do this on your own. You know that you're probably ahead of 70 to 80, 90% of most real estate agents out there that have no clue how many closings they would have to do based on their average sale price and average commission amount to achieve their goal. You having that, you're way ahead of the game. Now, continue to work backward with me, right? Step 2, not all deals close. You heard it here first, folks. So let's say you're a newer agent. Maybe you don't you're not all there yet. Maybe you're in an environment where you're not really supported. You don't have a lot of support from the contractor closing. Maybe you surrounded yourself with the wrong team and more deals are falling out than they should. I wanted to use a very aggressive number because you can always get better. Man, you shouldn't get worse, but you can always get better. So let's say 30% of those deals don't fall through. So in other words, to close 10 deals, I have to initiate 14 transactions. I can't say I'm going to put 10 contracts in, and by the luck of the draw, by God's great grace, I'm going to close all 10. Could happen, probably not. So if you use simple math and you use a fallout rate of 30%, you take 10 divided by 0.70, you have to put together 14 transactions. Jenny, you're the best at this. Is this making sense to you? Because if it makes sense to you, then I'm okay, right? So he says, okay, I get it. I got to put together, I got to put 14 deals in escrow. All right, you're with me. Step 3. All right, we keep going. How many prospects would you have to convert to have 14 transactions? Now, again, this has to do with proficiency. Now, a prospect is not a lead. A prospect is someone that you vetted, you worked with, you met, you sat down with them, you find out what their goals are. They've met with your lender. You know they're pre-approved. I got to believe that if you do it right over a period of time, 50% of those should go under contract. Doesn't that sound about right? Yeah. So again, the better you are at this, the more you're going to like this formula because the numbers are so much more in your favor. So you say, okay, so I want to get 14 transactions and I'm using a 50% conversion rate. I have to start off with 28 good prospects for the year. Now, this is prospects, not leads, prospects. Now, one of the things I hope to achieve by showing you this, not only the fact that numbers don't lie, but that this is very achievable if you're just willing to put in the effort. Now we go to step 4. We take the conversion rate of leads to prospect. And here's where most people really, they hit a brick wall. If you do not know how to engage in a conversation with a lead, chances are you're going to have a very, very low conversion rate. Now, I don't use Zillow personally. Some of you out there are using Zillow. I've heard that maybe the conversion rate might be anywhere from 2.5% to 5% of the leads that come in that are actually ready to buy right now. So this becomes something that you fluctuate. This is something that you can do. But I wanted to use kind of like a worst case scenario so it can be realistic for you. So if I were to go ahead and take 28 prospects and divide by 0.025, here's where a lot of folks can get intimidated. And here's where a lot of folks say, you know what, I'm done, I'm out. I got to create or generate 1,120 new leads per year. Now, if you're looking at this and you're thinking, there's no way I could do that. Well, hold on a second. David mentioned something earlier about eating the elephant one bite at a time. This is for an entire year. So let's take a look at this number. Take that 1120. How many months are you planning on working in the business? Now, I can tell you, I know personally some that only work 1 month collective, cumulative. That's not good. But let's say you want to have some balance in your life and you want to take 2 weeks off in the summer to spend time with the family, 2 weeks off in December. So you're really going to work 11 months. Sound about right? If you're in this business. So you take the 1120 divided by 11, that's 102 new leads or inquiries that you have to generate per month. Is it starting to sound like maybe more achievable? But hold on. Last step. How many work days? How many days are you putting into this business? I got to believe that anybody that's serious about working real estate is working 6 days a week, maybe more. I'm a big believer that Sundays for faith and family. I'm never, ever going to fault anybody. And if Saturday is your Sabbath, God bless you. If Friday is your Sabbath, God bless you. I'm not into the 7 days a week, but you're doing something on a real estate perspective every day. So 6 days a week. So you take that 102 and you divide it by the number of days you're going to work. And that's 4.25 new leads per day. I think that's achievable. What do you think? When you think about all of the tools that you have available, and this high tech and this high touch, like David was talking about, calling someone and say, I'm going to stop by and get coffee. But are you kidding me? With Lofty, with social media, with all of these different tools that are available, you can't get 4 people that say, I'm interested in finding out more. And think about this. What if all of a sudden you went from being a secret agent to someone that's actually saying to the world, I work real estate? Because I know a lot of you don't wear name badges. And I know a lot of you are walking around when you're in the grocery store like, man, I don't want anybody to know I'm in real estate. God forbid they'll ask me a question. So imagine if you became a marketing machine, if you became an attraction machine, and you put into place all of the different tools that are available to you. You can't generate 4 leads a day. I think that's doable. But wait, there's more. Because now let's take a different approach. Let's take the proficient agent approach. The agent that actually does role play, the agent that attends the company and the staff meetings and the team meetings, the ones that takes advantage of all these wonderful training programs that are available out there. And they go in, and the numbers are the same, but guess what? They don't have as many deals falling out as another agent. In this scenario, only 20% drop out. Whoa, that changes the numbers. Now I only have to initiate 12.5 transactions versus 14. Wait a minute. I take that 12.5 and I have a 60% conversion rate, which is still very conservative. And now I only have to generate 21 good prospects per year versus 28. Well, guess what? I'm really rocking and rolling now. I know how to answer the phone. I know how to get them engaged. I know how to get them to the point where they're willing to trust me and everything else. So I've doubled my conversion rate, which is still incredibly modest, from leads to prospects to 5% versus 2.5%. Now I only have to generate 420 leads a year. I'm working the same amount of months. That's only 38 leads per month. And same number of days, but I've cut the lead amount to, round it up, 2 leads per day. Tell me if, given everything we have at our disposal, and when you decide that real estate is no longer a hobby, that real estate is your bread and butter, when you put your goals together, when you put them on a board, or you do whatever, and you know what? We're all motivated by different things. Some of us are running away from something. Some of us are running towards something. It doesn't matter. Your definition of success, that number that works for you, the formula is the same regardless. So when you fill out the form, the template that I'm providing you is going to look a little like this. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Do we have any questions, comments? Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't know. I don't know if you wanted me to talk for longer. He said 40 minutes. I've never had anybody said, you know what? You finished early, man. You got to stretch
You know
it.
we can do it, right? You know we can do it. All right, everybody give Tony a round of applause, man. We appreciate you, brother. This is huge information. Guys, in case you missed it, the link did go into the chat with his worksheet. So as soon as the chat slows down again, we're going to make sure that that Michael puts it back up there for everybody again. And then we're going to put the link up there with the events again, because we've got 4 South Florida events between now and mid-January. And then we've got an event in New York coming up in February. So just want to keep you guys on that, but we're going to share that link again with you guys. All right. So now we're going to bring the infamous Jenny Sells Everywhere. Okay. But hey, if you guys don't know, Jenny Gomez is one of the most amazing realtors out here. I'm very excited and always happy when we're working together. You know, I tried to get Jenny to join my brokerage when I had a brokerage, and I got a lot of no's until I got a yes, right? And so, so I'm excited that Jenny's going to be here, and she's going to be sharing all the tools, tips, tricks, and things that she's doing now to create the amazing business and the huge team that she has, by the way. 22 years in the business, rocking and rolling. She's been doing this since she was 11 years old. It's wild. And so, Jenny, the show is all yours.
Thank you so much, guys. I truly appreciate it. It really is such a blessing to be here with you guys. And can everybody just see my screen well? Is it okay?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. And do you see me up on the screen in my own camera or no?
Yes, I do.
You do. Oh, no. Okay. So I'm going to bring this down then. All right. Okay. So super excited to be sharing with you guys. I am Jennifer Gomez, better known as Jenny Sells Miami. And like David said, I've been doing this for 22 years now. I started at the young age of 19 years old. And it really has been a journey. And all I can tell you is that it hasn't been easy, but there has been a lot of, and let's see if this is working with ya. Let's see. Persistence, consistency, and adaptability. Why? Because this industry has changed so much in the last 22 years. And I want you guys to know, I started in this industry when there was contracts being faxed back and forth. By the time that everybody's signatures and changes were done, I think it was maybe this big that the contract got back to us. So we've truly revolutionized this industry, and there's been so many changes. You could see here my first photo here up on the top left is a photo that I took at the young age of 19 years old. It was an Olin Mills picture. It wasn't anything digitalized. There was no, up touchings or whatever. It was the real deal. And throughout the years, I have obviously changed much, but with those changes has come so much experiences, so much learning. And I'm going to kind of touch on the fact that we are all in different stages of the industry, right? So some of you have just started, in the last 5 years. Some of you have been with us 10 years or longer. And so I'm going to touch on the different years and what I think you should be doing throughout the different stages of your career. Okay. And I know that in the last few years that most agents have started in this industry, there hasn't really been a good foundation. There really hasn't been offices that people are going to, whether you're in this because you're a part-timer or because you have maybe started with a company that really doesn't do a lot of trainings. It is so important to have a good foundation. And today, I truly can value when someone starts in the industry and either A, has a good mentor, or a good company or joins a team. And I can honestly tell you that those are the first three things that you need to evaluate as a new agent, and make sure that you get the foundation of your business down packed from the beginning. Make sure that you are being guided by the right people who are going to teach you how to do the business the right way. Because if you do that, like any building, if it's not on solid ground, if it's not on a good foundation, that building will crumble. And so your business will never really take off because you really haven't learned how to do it the right way. And so what is part of the early years? The early years is learning your contracts and your paperwork. Okay. When I did this 22 years ago, every Wednesday, we sat down and we got the rental listing agreement, the sales contract, and each page we would actually highlight page by page by page what everything means. You need to know what those documents stand for and what it's all about. And so I encourage you guys to make sure that you have your contracts down packed. Now, open houses. If you don't have business, then you need to learn how to get involved. What is an open house? What do you need for an open house? Why? Because listings is the name of the game. It was then and it will always be. And so if you want to get those listings, then you need to know what you're going to do for those listings, right? You promise the sellers that you're going to, do open houses and you're going to do marketing. And so what does that even mean if you've never have done one? Well, go ahead and reach out to an agent that you know and say, hey, I would love to do an open house for you. Or if you're part of a team, find out who's doing the next open house and either do it with them or do it yourself, but get that feedback, get that foundation started. Make sure that you invest in yourself. And if you don't have the right marketing material, then where are you going to go if you don't even have a business card or if you don't have an open house sign? What are you going to do if you don't already have these things in place? So while you don't have the business, yes, you need to spend some money, but you need to get your things in order. So when the time comes that you have a listing, you're not running around trying to get everything done. Okay. Now, cold calling and door knocking. It seems like a thing of the past, but the reality is that you don't have to reinvent the wheel, okay? You can stick to the things that have worked for many years. You can obviously adapt and engage and do more of the things that are new and innovative, but you still need to do some of the foundational stuff, which is cold calling, door knocking, getting on the phones. We just talked about, the breakdown that David and Tony talked about is 20 phone calls a day, 20 connections to have the 40 that, one of our agents was talking about. So, or the 400 conversations that she was talking about. So make sure that that is stuff that you even know how to do. Get trainings on how to cold call. Don't just think that you're going to jump on a phone call and not know what you're going to say. You need to have scripts. You need to have everything in order for you to be able to be ready to have those handling of the rejections or how to, communicate with people. So make sure that you are down packed with those cold calls and knocking on those doors. If you're going to have an open house, you should be knocking on the neighborhood the entire week before and saying, hey neighbor, we're going to have an open house on Saturday and we want you to come by. Have you ever considered selling or maybe buying yourself? Or do you have a family member who might be interested? This is your opportunity, and I want you guys to be clear on that. You're not doing the open house to necessarily sell the listing. You're doing the open house to gain a new lead, a new buyer, a new seller. Now, how are you going to do that? Just by standing at the open house? No, you're going to do that because you're going to work that neighborhood before and after that open house. And that is on you. If you're not doing it, then who else is going to do it? Guess what? 9 out of 10 times, somebody in that neighborhood is thinking about selling, whether they sell today, in a month, or in 2 months. Now, are they going to think of you because you walked around the neighborhood and talked to them and gave them a flyer or a postcard or shared something with them about the open house? Yeah, they will. So make sure that you understand the reason why we do open houses, the reason why we do door knocking, and it is because you are engaging with a potential new lead. And that's where that next business deal that can make you a $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 commission check is going to come from. All right. Preview inventory, tour homes weekly. If you don't know your market, then when somebody asks you, hey, what do you think is going on? you're going to be like, well, so make sure that you are finding out what is going on, who's selling what, especially if you're going to do a farming in a specific area, you need to know the information. And then, like everything, you need to build trust, communicate clearly with your clients, follow through, and respond quickly. So, right here, this is your number one tool. If you are not answering your phone 24/7, you are losing. You need to be able to communicate not just by a phone call anymore. Now it's by text, by Instagram message, by WhatsApp. I mean, I've had a friend of mine or a client of mine reaching out to me in all manners within the same 5 minutes. It was like an Instagram message that she sent me, then we texted, then we had a WhatsApp chat, and then it was like an email within a few minutes. So you need to make sure that this is your number one tool and that you are working and building those relationships correctly. Everybody with me? Everybody so far so good? All right, all right. Okay, now those middle years. So, it depends on what you're doing, but networking consistently is huge. Now, for many years, I was like, I don't need to network. My buyers and my sellers are, my where my business comes from. Why mix and mingle with other realtors? Guess what? It does make a difference. It really does. When somebody knows your name, when you submit an offer, it's going to make a difference. And so, we have here Marlene from the Women's Council of Realtors. We have Nair in the house. We have so many wonderful communities within the real estate that we can connect and network with. But then we also have other types of local business things that we should be involved in. So if there are charity fundraisers, if there's Chamber of Commerce events, you want to do that to build yourself with other buyers and potential sellers the day of tomorrow. So find out what is going on in your neighborhood, in your area, and be a part of these events. You want to strengthen your referral pipeline, create a system to follow up with past clients. And let me tell you, this has been something that has been weighing very heavily on my heart for the past 3 years, really. Your CRM needs to be your number one. Every morning you need to wake up and you need to have a CRM. If your company doesn't, provide it for you, then you need to pay for it. We've been blessed to have a company that offers it and we don't have to pay for it. But even if you didn't, you should, because you need to make sure that you can not only know every morning when you wake up who you need to follow up with, because you put something in that system that said, hey, call Joe because he had a surgery, but he's thinking about selling in 2026. So now you're going to follow up because the system reminded you, and you're going to go ahead and say, hey, Joe, how you doing? Just wanted to see how that surgery went for you. You're not going to talk about whether or not he's ready to sell or anything. No, you're going to follow up and be a good friend to Joe. You're going to find out how he's doing after that surgery. But the truth is, when you have so many clients, you're going to forget. So the system is going to remind you. When a year passes and that sale, has an anniversary, are you going to remember it? Absolutely not. You're already moved on to the next deals, the next people that you're involved in. And so the CRM is what's going to help you keep your pipeline, which is going to be where your referrals are going to come from. All my business is friends and referrals. I don't do any marketing. The only marketing I do is social media, and that is it. I don't pay for ads. I don't pay for leads. I don't pay for any of that. And 22 years of business, top agents for years and years and years, and now with my team as well. So it is all about referrals, and it is about those connections and those pipelines that you will start creating, but you need to follow through with them. Okay. Now, invest in education. For so many years, people would say, hey, let's do the GRI designation. Okay, I went and we did it as, a group or whatnot. And then after that, I decided to say, you know what, I want to do my luxury designation. And I got that. I had to qualify for it because you have to sell over a certain amount. And I got that. And for many years, I had all these things. I wouldn't even put it on my signature. I wouldn't put it on anything. And 22 years later, I have had the opportunity to not only put those designations on presentations like this one, but I was up at a huge conference for our company just a couple of weeks ago in Orlando, Florida, over 2,000 agents who I got to say, hey, these are my designations. And it's not about pride, but it's about the fact that education has led me to where I am today and why I could stand here in front of you guys and be able to share my experiences with you. So don't think that these designations are thrown under the rug. I know Daniela just got her broker associate license. Super proud of you. I did that a couple years ago as well. And now, leading a team, it is almost as if I had my own brokerage. So it is information that if I wouldn't have learned or if I wouldn't have taken those courses, they probably would not have been able to be, or I would not be able to be where I am today. So I have the confidence, but I have the experiences through that education. So don't take that lightly, guys. I mentioned earlier, finding a mentor, join a team, shadow top agents, mastermind in groups. These are all different things that are going to really align you with the right people who are going to be leveling you up. And so the fact that you guys are all here, I mean, we have almost 100 people on this call today. You guys are trying to level up, and we are so appreciative. And we want you guys to reach out to us, to be involved, and to make sure that you are getting to where you want to be. Because at the end of the day, we don't do this for fun. We do this to put food on the table for our families. And so iron sharpens iron. And if there's anything that any of us can help you with, we want to be in a collaborative group where you can reach out to us. Expand your marketing. So I hope this is not you, but every single listing needs to have professional photography. I remember, 10, 15 years ago, it was not a thing. We would come with our little Canon, camera, and we would take our own pictures, and they were dark and this and that. Well, that's a thing of the past. Then everybody was doing it with their phones. Okay, that's still a thing of the past. You need to have professional photography. I don't care if it's an efficiency. Get the professional photography done and make sure that you have someone who is working with you and aligned with you in all of your listings, so that you guys can have the same people consistently doing the work that you need, because then it's going to transition into your social media. It's going to transition into listings. And this is where now you're going to start building your network, not just in person, but through your social media. Now, hosting client events, I know that David was talking about that. You can have different events. I did a big 20-year anniversary party. I invited, hundreds of my, past clients, and it was a great moment to say thank you. And so even if it's not a big event, but something small, it really goes a long way. So don't leave that to, when I'm 10 years in the business or 5 years. No, do it yearly if you possibly can. Do it small and intimate, or do it big, however you want. Now, in the recent years, things have changed. And like I was talking about, refining my marketing, the drone videos, the lifestyle videos. So, for many years, people have been saying, okay, social media, you need to be more on video. I don't always look so pretty. I don't always have my hair done or makeup done, and I hate it. But the fact is that we need to do it. So get off of our vain moment and mindset and just say, you know what? I got to get it done. And so even for this event, I took a video right next to my Christmas tree just to get engagement and get people to notice. So you need to do the same, whether you're talking about the market, whether you're talking about, something else in the business, you need to get on video. And then also, again, have that professional marketing photos and videos as well. So this is also because now you're leveling up. So you're not just in the business 5 years anymore. You really want to get into luxury. Everybody loves luxury. And in Miami specifically, which I know we have many other states on here, it's almost like everything's a luxury price property already. But you need to act and you need to engage with things that are going to level you up to make sure that you are giving that kind of service to that client. So what are you going to do to learn that market? You're going to preview, you're going to go to brokers opens for $1 million listings. You're going to host luxury style open houses and catered events. And you're going to do activities or go to the activities so you can learn from others, see what they're doing, and then do it yourself. And if I'm going to teach you something that I had to learn personally is fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it. I was not blessed coming into luxury because of my family, but we were very humble 3 cheeseburgers, 2 French fries, 1 Coke on Sundays at McDonald's. That was our highlight, you know. And so the fact that I can stand here today and be able to say that I have tapped into the luxury market, I am right now selling a listing for $3.5 million and have had so many other things in under my belt. But the same way I can sell a $3.5 million listing, I also have a $1,200 studio efficiency. I don't say no to any business. And, you know, others may criticize me, but the truth is that if it's my friend who's giving me a listing, why not take it, right? So make sure that you understand how to tap into the different markets and still doing the same level of service and quality for all. Now, you want to strengthen your personal brand. You want to polish your website. You need to be consistent, and we'll talk about that in just a few minutes. I'm going to show you guys some of that breakdown. And if you want, scale with a team. So maybe you don't have the business yourself. You don't know where to start. Build a team within your either joining a team or creating a team between your lender, your title, your photographer. That is your team. That is the backbone to your business. Make sure that you align yourself with them where you can trust them, that if you know that no matter what happens, they're going to get you to the closing table, that's the right team you need to be with. Okay. So that is very important. Having your own backbone to your business, lender, title, photographer, and then as well as maybe possibly going and joining a team where if you don't know where to start, you can learn from them and from the rest of the group. Attending luxury conferences, Inman, luxury networking groups, international real estate events. There's so many events happening that you can be a part of, but you got to get off of that chair. And so many of us, especially after COVID, are hiding at home. We just want to be at home. We don't want to have to mix and mingle with people. Guess what? That's why you have no business. And 100,000 used to be a great number, but it is not realistic anymore. If you really, really, really are going to live the lifestyle that you want, you need to be at 200, 300, $500,000. 100,000 doesn't make it anymore for us. So you guys need to have big thoughts, big dreams, and they are attainable, but you do need to be consistent at what you're doing. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes. Stay visible to your sphere. Again, maybe holiday gifts. I did last year pumpkin pies. I bought them for $5 at Walmart. I put a little sticker with my logo on it and I ran around and started sending them or taking them, better say, to my past clients of that year. Thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Thank you for, selling your house with me, for buying your house with me. And that was a beautiful little gesture that went a long way. It gets you referrals, and more than anything, it keeps that relationship growing. Negotiating at a higher price is going to be possibly challenging. And so you need to know what their different levels of negotiations are. And I want to be very specific, guys. I don't care if it's the rental or if it's the $1 million sale, everything is going to have a problem. Every deal is going to have a problem. I don't know if you know that already, but learn it right now. Every deal is going to have a problem. But it's also in the psychology of how you handle that problem. And I will tell you, I thank God every day because he has given me the wisdom of discernment to know how to deal with everybody in the transaction. You have to know when to speak, when not to speak, when to encourage, when to stand back. And so if there's something about all of this that ties in, it's going to be psychology. Now, this is my team. I share this with you because I came from being a solo agent to now having a team of over 20 plus agents. We are top 3, and it's not about what I have done. It is about the fact that because of the consistency that I have put together for you guys to see here, we have built authority, brand, power, and long-term trust. I can't stand here before you and tell you to do this and this and this if I haven't already experienced it on myself. And the fact is that I've had to hit myself against the wall to learn these things because nobody taught me. Nobody told me, hey, Jenny, come along with me and join our team and I'm going to teach you all of this. Or at my brokerage, they didn't say, hey, you're doing it wrong. You should be doing it like this. Nobody cares. You are on your own. So you either have to learn it, do it, or align yourself with the right people to do it with. Now, in the meantime, fake it till you make it. Yes, I said it, fake it till you make it, because the truth is that You don't grow up having all these systems and things in gear. You have to build it. And if you don't have the right things in place, you're learning it here, and then you will slowly put it into place. And I want you guys to take the notes that you guys are taking, and it may seem overwhelming. You're going to be like, I want to be just like her and I want to get everything done. And you know what? You're going to get overwhelmed. And what I want you to know is you need to get 1% better every day. If you are 1% better every day, then you have succeeded. So don't get overwhelmed with all that needs to happen. But as long as you are doing it consistently, and adding more and more and more of what needs to be done. So when I switched companies, so I was with one company for 16 years, loved it, and I really wanted to build myself. I wanted to elevate myself more into other types of sales, more luxury, and I didn't know how to find the right tools in place, but I realized that I needed to build a brand for myself. And so this color, it is my favorite color. I have had, walls in my own home with this color, and it really speaks about me. And find that color. There's like over 10 million color variations. Find your tones. It doesn't have to be this. Find yours. And one of the biggest things that I remember is social media, 10, 15 years ago was not a thing. So when I created my social media name, and I'm just going to put this out there, I created Jenny Sells Miami. I'm like, hey, I'm in Miami. I sell Miami. Jenny Sells Miami. Well, needless to say, that name actually took off. I now see hundreds of people saying so-and-so sells Miami, so-and-so sells Texas, and that's fabulous. That's wonderful. But the fact is that I also learned throughout the years that I'm no longer just selling Miami. I'm selling the Florida Keys. I'm selling in Orlando. I'm even selling in Virginia. I've sold in Texas. Not personally, but through referrals. So I have actually limited myself with Jenny Sells Miami with not making others understand that I can actually sell all over the place. So when you create a social media name or a website or your email, please, please, please remember that you should keep it more open-minded, open variants, because you are going to understand that you may not always sell just in Miami. And if your business grows and continues, you are going to spread your wings and fly, and you're going to have more opportunities. So don't limit your mind, as well as don't use the word realtor. Please, guys, this is something I've been touching on for many, many years now. The word realtor, it is associated with the registered name, and that registered name may not even be a possibility for us to use in a couple of years. So please understand that your marketing should not have certain things on it. Go back to your basics 101, get your real estate handbook and understand what you can and cannot do, because you don't want to create a brand for yourself that is not going to be sustainable long term. So keep that in mind. Now, think of colors that you want to connect with in all of your branding. Create content that friends, family, buyers, and sellers alike will want to see. So how does that happen? Okay, here's my social media page. If you guys see, I'm at a wedding. If you guys see, it's my daughter's birthday, my listing for 3.5 million, other podcasts that we did with Jen Kurz and Jen A from New World Title. And so these are things that I am having to innovate myself in doing, but also keeping it consistent, not just for my buyers and my sellers, but also for my friends and family. And so I personally don't have a separate social media. All is in one, because the people who know, love, and trust me are the same people who are referring me the business for the buyer to become a buyer and to become a seller. So it's all in one. You might think differently, but that's how I have done it. It has worked. People don't always want to see the luxury listing. They want to see my kids' 15s. They want to relate to me, who I am. They want to trust me that I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I go to church, I do activities. That is what has given me the business that I have today. And I encourage you guys strongly to think of what your social media looks like today and revamp it. It's never too late. Just because you were using that word realtor for all these years in your social media, guess what? If you're not famous yet, then now's the time to change it. Okay. If you don't know, have 10, 12, 20 million, people following you already, then now's still the time to change it. Now, using short form videos. I am still learning all of this. You know, yes, I've been doing Instagram Reels, but now I have to do TikToks, and now I'm trying to do YouTube Shorts. And it's like, where do we start? Where does it end? It never ends. On the contrary, it's just adding more and adding more. And if there's something that I can tell you guys, is the moment that you have enough business where you can spare a couple $1,000, you know, in your business, get a VA. A virtual assistant goes a long, long, long way. I have truly been blessed to have learned that early on by David, who shared, you know, these opportunities with us of what a virtual assistant does. They can be anywhere in the world, whether it's the Philippines or Colombia or Venezuela or wherever, but they will work for a great, you know, small amount of money and do so much great things behind the scenes for you. And so I personally find it hard to have a personal on staff person locally. I'd rather it be someone that is behind the scenes on the computer, ready for me to say, hey, I need this and this and this and this. So whether it's to create a social media document, post, or whether it's to create a contract for me or upload listing photos, whatever it is, these are things that they're doing behind the scenes that I personally don't have to do anymore. And it helps me gain back my time with my family and or get more business. So that was kind of like a little declaration there. Anyways, share market updates on your social media. So you're asking yourself, what do I post on social media? Okay, well, first of all, now we can actually ask ChatGPT, hey, what should I do? Well, 10, 15 years ago, when I created my social media, I started with a calendar. I said, okay, every Monday, I want to post a listing that we have. And so if you look at all of my history, you're going to find that on there is a listing on a Monday. On a Tuesday, it's this. On a Wednesday, it's that. And just create a marketing. And you don't have to stick to it, but you should stick to it. Like, it doesn't have to be ideal every single week, but it should have a concept and it should have a plan for how you work your social media. Okay. The color schemes, everything should be a part of your website, your social media, and everything that when somebody thinks of Jenny, they think of Aqua, they think of Jenny Sells Miami, and it's a household name sometimes where my friends literally call me, hey, Jenny Sells Miami, so tell me, how's the market? At a birthday party, you know? So you want that name, you want to be recognized one way or another. Find your niche of how you want to make that happen. Post about your transactions, do virtual tours, post neighborhood guides. You know, these are all different things that you can do to post on your social media. Now, leverage your social proof. You know, the other day we were named top 3% nationwide, top 5% in sales side, and number 69 in all of Florida. This was a huge, huge honor because for many years I've earned top producing agent, but now it's a team thing. And for our team to be recognized on Real Trends Verified was huge. These are things that you want to share with your audience. You don't want to be a secret agent. And it's not that we want to boast. It's not that I want to, I'm the best of the best. It's not about that. But if people don't know what you're doing and how well you're doing it, then how are they going to love and trust you to give you their business? Let's be real. So find your way of being able to show, hey, I'm at an open house. Hey, I'm selling this. Hey, I'm offering that. Hey, I can help you with this. You gotta have a flow of different things on your social media, okay? And don't be afraid of putting it out there. The truth is that if you don't, then you're not gonna get the business. So think about that. We also have the consistency. Okay, so I personally, like I mentioned, I had no roadmap. There were no shortcuts for me. I am still learning every single day, but what I did have was persistence. I had grit and I had the willingness to learn by doing. And so if you guys don't stand up and get it done, no one's gonna get it done for you. So you need to pick right now 2 to 3 platforms at minimum, because there's so many, but at minimum where you are going to be consistently posting. And there are little tips and tricks where you can actually have it automated. So you gotta, if you want help with that, let us know. We can always, show you. You could chat GPT it, but make sure that what you post on Instagram is what you post on Facebook. If you're going on TikTok, make sure that it all aligns. times. And you have to be, I mean, I know here we put 3 to 5 times a week. I personally think it should be daily, and I like to do it like at 6 in the morning when everybody's on the toilet scrolling through their phones, or either that or at night. Ask ChatGPT, what are the best times to post? Create that. And again, we have ChatGPT that tells us these algorithms and these things that I didn't have this 10 years ago. I just went out on a whim and figured, you know what, while they're on the toilet, they could at least scroll through. So figure it out. If not, reach out, because we are here to help and engage with comments, DMs, and hashtags. If your algorithm is not interacting with other people, then you're going to see the same things and nobody's going to see you. So that's another thing. If you went to a birthday party, make sure that you are commenting on, the grandmother, the sister, the cousin, everybody who went to the party, everybody who commented on the birthday party. Put a like, send them a message. Don't be creepy about it, but send a message. Hey, it was great to see you, so and so. Oh my gosh, wonderful time together, whatever. But you're engaging, you're connecting, and now what's going to happen is what you post for your business is going to be on their page as well. Okay. Now, track and adapt. So what worked for us 5 to 10 years ago is not working anymore. You gotta make sure that you are seeing where your business is excelling, how many people are looking at your things, what engage them. And now the AI is the new thing. And if you don't know about AI, you really do need to come to those events that David was talking about that we're going to be doing in January. It's going to be powerful. We're going to be talking about niches, luxury, and AI. And if you don't know, then you need to know, because it is taking over, and it is something that can only make our business that much easier, to be honest with you. If you have everything set and engaging it correctly, it can be a game changer for you. And, for many years, I have held back on putting things on TikTok or doing YouTube, because I don't know if that's going to really last. And guess what? It's here to stay. And AI is going to be here to stay. So if you are closing yourself off about it because, oh, I'm 50, 60 years old and I don't want to know about that stuff, then you are going to be extinct from real estate. So I want you to have an open mindset. Make sure to come to our event, find out more details on all of that we're going to be sharing with you. Now, I have put together for you all a 12-month luxury real estate activity calendar. And even though we use the word luxury, it doesn't have to be for luxury. It's just for all types of properties that you are going to sell. And so I actually have a slide at the end that you guys can get the QR code, and you will have all of this broken down for you to be able to follow what you're going to be doing off in January as your kickoff and your planning. You're going to look at your past year's numbers like Tony was talking about. You're going to get your client list, your referral sources. You're going to update that CRM. I did this last year myself. I sat down in December when, things were a little bit slower, when we were traveling and whatnot. And I looked at my CRM and I started crossing off and deleting who I didn't want to be in communication with anymore. Because, hey, we're not always friends with everybody all the time. And I was updating the buyers and the sellers' emails and the telephone numbers and all of that stuff. I pulled thousands of numbers from my phone and contacts, and I uploaded them into my CRM. And guess what I was able to do? I was able to send a Christmas message, a New Year's message, and say Happy New Year to all of the people that I had on my phone. And I wouldn't have done that if I didn't have the CRM in place and taking the time to actually set it up. So what's great about CRMs is you set it up once, set it and forget it. So all of these different things you're going to kick off in January. We have what to do in February, March, and so on for the entire year. And I'm not going to take too much time on this because this is already broken down for you guys in the roadmap that I am attaching for you guys. And at the end of the day, I want to make sure that you guys know that these are things that I have personally put into place in my own business. They are working and they can work for you. So the only question really that we have is, what is stopping you? What is stopping you? You have all the tools, you have all the resources, you have everything at your fingertips. You have the people on this chat in place to help you. There are no excuses. So all you need now is a willingness to learn all of this stuff that you've heard today and actually put it into action. So I thank you all for your time. I really want you guys to know that we are all here for you, and we want to make sure that your 2026 is on a another level. The things of the past are the things of the past, and the future is so bright. So make sure that you scan this QR code. If you want, we'll also go ahead and share it with you guys. But this QR code is a roadmap that you're going to be able to utilize to have the full 12 months in place of what you need to do. So we thank you all. David, take it away.
Huge. Everybody go to the chat box. Give her a round of applause for helping us out. Guys, let me tell you something, man. I'm listening here, so I want to be able to give you like some takeaways that I want you to really think about. Let me see. Jenny, can you stop sharing the screen so I can get the whole thing?
I'll try.
She's like, I'm trying.
I don't know how to do that.
We're dropping gems. There you go. That's the way I love it, man. Listen, guys, we're going to give you some breakdowns, right? There's still 70 of you on this Zoom call, which is absolutely amazing. Mike, do me a favor, make sure that you drop the link back in there for the worksheet, and also the link for our events in here, Mike, and make sure everybody has those links. If you can make it down for one of our events, please join us for an event. The biggest thing that I ask is invite a friend, man. Let's fill the room. Help us put 100, 150 people in a room. Let our monthly events be 100 to 150. Force us to have our own large 1,000-person event outside of what we're already going to and already doing, and bringing you massive value all the time, right? We want to be able to do that for you. But I got to tell you, just from the very beginning, you know, when you talk about what I talked about in the 531 and the 135, take your time with this, really break it down. And more importantly, understand why these certain goals are important to you. Okay. Why are they important to you? Because sometimes you'll create goals that are not really that important. You're just doing it for flash and whatever it is, and it ends up being a fugazi plan and it never happens. And then later on, you're disappointed with yourself. And, you know, like if your plan is to drive a Rolls Royce by the end of 2026, why is that important to you? What's so important about driving a Rolls Royce? What is the purpose of it, right? If you want to drive a Lambo, or you want to drive a Toyota F350, or I'm sorry, a Ford F350, or a Toyota Tundra, or whatever it is. I'm just using cars as an example, right? You want to move from your house. You want to go to a bigger house. Or you want to go to a smaller house. What is the purpose behind it? Because we cannot build without purpose. As human beings, we need a purpose. So find that purpose. Why do you want to sell 36 lists? This is the first question that I asked when we worked together on that little exercise, right? She said, I want to do 36 deals and I want to net 300K. Why is that important? Why is that important? And I explained this to you guys because I had a massive aha moment. I think it was 2018, okay? 2018. And was it 2018? Let me see, 16. Yeah, it was 2018. I had this aha moment, okay? And I always used to teach these classes with the mindset that everyone wants to be a top producer. Everyone wants to sell a ton of real estate. Everyone wants to do big things. I mean, how could you not? And I had a lady come up to me and say, hey, Dave, listen, I love your classes. And the problem that I have is that all of it is about being this big, and I don't want to be this big. I want to sell enough properties to make me $60,000 a year. David, can you help me make $60,000 a year? And I looked at her and I had this, like, I don't know how it was created, but there was a filter that came in all of a sudden, like God inserted a filter through my ears, because what was going on in my brain did not come out of my mouth, right? Like in my brain, I was like, what the hell is wrong with you? And out my mouth was, okay, why? Talk to me about this. And she said, I'm a single mom. I got 3 kids. And it's more important to me to be at sport practices, cheerleading practice, school events, etc., than it is for me to be leaving my kids stranded while I'm out trying to show properties. And I said, okay, how do you survive? She said, I got a paid off condo and a paid off house. 60K puts food on the table, takes care of everything I need to do. That's what I need. And I said, okay, let's come up with that plan. And when we came up with that plan using the very system that we talked about today, she took it, she ran with it, she made 100K that year. using the systems, still had time for her kids, still did everything that was important to her, but put more food on the table than she imagined. That's huge. Then I get a text message yesterday. You guys, I'm sure you've seen it. I posted all over social media because I was so proud. I can't say his name, but one of my, clients, call him client, mentee, whatever you want to call him, who relies on me for a lot of support and, mentorship and stuff. This guy, like, this is the type of guy that you tell him, all right, do 1, 2, 3. And he goes and he works 1, 2, 3 like it was the last thing on earth. And he runs with it. And for the first time ever in his life, he broke $1 million in gross commission income this year. That's huge, guys, right? But that was his goal. Now, can you imagine what his brain is thinking? Like, he's never made $1 million in his life. $1 million. GCI with $114,000 pending. And can you imagine where his brain goes from here? His brain goes, it wasn't impossible. I did it. So what's next? 2 million? Okay, let's try for 2 million. And he's rocking and rolling. So whatever your goal is and whatever you decide is right for you, that's what's right for you. You had me speak, you had Tony speak, you had Jenny speak. All three of us have very different dynamics. We have very different businesses. We have very different goals. We have very different passions, aspirations. We're doing things in different manners. But we're all set to chase the dreams and the goals that we desire. And we're going to do that by putting systems in place and making sure that we focus on those systems on a daily basis. And that's what you got for Tony. He broke it down for you. Tony broke it down for you and said, hey, guys, this is the money that you want to make. This is how you do it. Let me break it down. Elephant to bite size. Elephant to fork. Right? And so if you do these little things, if you do 4 leads a day, just 4 a day, it'll add another 100 grand to your pipeline. By the way, I like saying add another 100 because you're at 0 and you add 100, you make 100, right? But if you add what he said to what you're already doing, and today you made 200, then you can make 300 next year just by adding what Tony said and using his dynamic and his mythology. And the number can change. Use his, I'm sure you all took screenshots and you wrote stuff down, right? So use the layout and go 300,000. How do I make 300,000? Let me break this down. How do I make 500,000? Let me break that down. And by the way, have fun with this. Play with it. How do I make $1 million? Let me break that down. Right? And then if you look at it and you go, I'm not willing to commit to that in 2026, but 300,000 looks like I could do that all day long, then so be it. Do that. Focus on that. And then Jenny came and she just gave you 22 years of what she did every single year to grow to where she is today. Right? 60 something, I think it's number 66 mega team. Huge team of agents. Great success. Right? When Jenny and I first started working together several years ago, it was Jenny. That was it. It was Jenny Sells Miami. You know how incredibly excited I am for her to see the growth and success that she's had in this time. I'm beyond excited to see how much she's grown and what she's accomplished. And she just poured it into you. Told you exactly what she's been doing to get there. All you got to do is copy paste. Because there's no secret to this real estate game. There's no secret to it. The number one takeaway that I want you to have from all of this is that we are in the people business. So as you're building your business, as you're building your business plan for this coming year, make sure that there is a heavy focus on how many people can I get in front of? How many people's lives can I change? How many people can I meet with? How many people can I help even if it doesn't help me? That's a really big question. And then how do I become the centrifugal force between that person and their home. If they need a plumber, how can I get them to think about me first? They need a roofer, how can I get them to think about me first? So that I'm always top of mind for them as the real estate pro who knows everything about houses everywhere. Now that's my closing remarks. I'm going to give Tony Martinez an opportunity to come in with some amazing closing remarks. Then we'll give it to Jenny. And then we're going to open it up for questions. And if you have questions, start popping them in there in the chat box so we can start reading them as we do these closing remarks. Tony, you're up, sir.
All right, Brother Dave, listen, just to add something very, very quick. We're talking about goal setting, right? We know what we want to achieve, or we hope we know you want to achieve, but people tend to do like this: what, by when, and how, right? We've shown you a lot of hows today, but we're forgetting one very important component in between. It really should be what I want, by when do I want it, and who is going to help me get there. There's a fantastic book called Who, Not How. Because if we knew how, we probably would have done it already, right? We don't surround ourselves with the right people. Here's what you really need to look at now as we're closing out this year. Are you with the right brokerage? Are they supporting you? Do they give you the tools? Are you surrounded by positive energy, culture? Are you maybe not doing as well as you could as a solo agent? And maybe you need to consider joining a team. Or maybe you're on a team right now and you're not being fed properly. And feeding doesn't mean leads. You know, I have a team of 130 agents. You know how many leads we give them? 0. Because that's not our model. You know what we give them? Culture, training, support. It really comes down to, are you working with the right lender, right? If your lender is ABC Mortgage Inc. and they spell Inc. I-N-K, you may have the wrong lender. You know, the title company, Jenny said it, we're not in this business alone. We surround ourselves with people. Look at who you're surrounding yourself with. If you're hanging out with 4 broke people, you're going to be the 5th. And as I said at the very beginning, my goals are not yours. Dave's are not yours. Jenny's are not yours. Find a number that makes a difference in your family, in your community, and that's what you shoot for. God bless you guys.
Jenny, you got any closing remarks for everybody?
So good, guys. Listen, we want to pour into you. We want to make you guys better agents. And if there's anything that we can do to help, we're here. We're here, and you just need to know that you got to be persistent. You got to have consistency, and you got to adapt with the times. So whether you've been in the industry 1 year, 5 years, 10, 20, know that you still have to do the exact same thing. Persistence, consistency, and adaptability. We love you. We hope that you guys have a wonderful 2025 end of year strong, because there's still almost a month left to still get business done. Don't think that it's over. And I'll be honest with you guys, every year I take a New Year's trip, and that is when my phone does not stop ringing. It's like all of a sudden, January 1st or even at the end, people are thinking